Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week number 4 in the Pokemon Premier League. My name is CBAD, coach of the Detroit Steelings, and we are taking on my guy Owen in the Golden State Galades. I am super excited for this matchup. I haven't had the chance to play Owen in quite some time. Really looking forward to it. Hope you guys are excited. If you are, leave a like, subscribe for more Draft League content, of course. There will be some floating text somewhere on the screen in post-production if you guys want to skip right on ahead to the battle. I always recommend you guys watch the team builders. That way you guys know what I'm bringing and why I'm bringing it, because we definitely have a fun one for you this week. But if that's not your speed, I don't know. Tap into the team builders. That's all I'm saying. Owen's got a scary team. As always, I think that we've got the 6 we need to take him down. We are looking very nice so far to start the season. Currently 3-0 and really looking to run that back. So all that being said, I appreciate your time. You guys are going to start to see some teams appear on screen right about now. My opponent has a team that consists of Meowscarada, Mew, Gliscor, Tinkaton, Tentacruel, Latios, Sableye, Galarian Zapdos, Raikou, Entei, and Bagon. Some things to note about my opponent's team: Mew, Gliscor, and Bagon are Terra captains. We do have the potential to outspeed with Talonflame. We do outspeed everything. I always like a little bit of speed control from that angle there. Gliscor is really interesting in this matchup this week. I'll be completely honest with you. He's got a variety of hazards that he can set: spikes, rocks, and T-spikes. The only form of hazard removal is through Tentacruel, so we want to see what we can do to potentially capitalize on that just a little bit. First Pokemon we are bringing off the bench, first round pick, which seems a little odd to say out loud, but Titano Strike the Raging Bolt there, holding their Assault Vest with the Photosynthesis ability. Draco Meteor, Thunderclap, Thunderbolt, and a Volt Switch. We have 200 EVs in HP, 184 in defense, 116 in special attack, 8 in special defense with a modest nature. Someone in the back say it. What does this do for us? So let's go ahead and talk about it. With the Assault Vest, with our Natural Bulk, we're taking a lot of the special hits from things like a setup Mew, from something like Calm Mind Raikou that has like Aura Sphere. We're taking things from Latios, somewhat, depending on the sets. It allows us to take those just a little bit more comfortably, potentially return fire. 200 EVs in HP with 184 in defense means we are always 3-hit KO'd by something like a Jolly Tinkaton Play Rough, which is great. The 116 in special attack with a modest nature means that we are doing fantastic damage across the board, being able to get some good hits off on things like Raikou with Draco Meteor, on things like the Entei with Thunderclap if it ends up being like a banded set. We can do the name of the game really with this also is Gliscor against Raging Bolt. Like Gliscor, it puts it in a weird spot for Terra. Like you have to hold on to that ground type so you don't lose that immunity, because otherwise I get free Thunderclaps, Thunderbolts, Volt Switches off. So it really puts that into a nice position that I'm hoping to capitalize on. Next Pokemon we are bringing, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Toupee the Scream Tail. They're holding their booster energy with the Photosynthesis ability, Calm Mind, Psyshock, Flamethrower, and Boom Burst. 88 EVs in defense, 252 in special attack, 168 in speed with a modest nature. With this spread, we're outspeeding all of the base 100s, like a max speed modest set. So if it is a Adamant Scarf Galarian Zapdos, if it is like an Adamant Dragon Dance Mew, anything along those lines, we're going to be able to outspeed those at +1. We're outspeeding the entirety of Owen's team and below afterwards. Psyshock, Flamethrower, Boom Burst go very nicely into the team, and it was quite a toss-up, honestly, between something like Psyshock versus something like Dazzling Gleam, and I felt the Psyshock just helped out a lot more. It was either Tentacruel sits in front of this or Sableye sits in front of this, and just looking at the team, I can't see Sableye coming to this matchup, so I dropped the fairy coverage on the Scream Tail to go for a Psyshock in case of the Tentacruel coming in. Tentacruel is a pretty solid haze user. I want to make sure that I'm able to go for a Calm Mind, be able to burst that. Flamethrower doing great. It's super effective into the Meowscarada. It's super effective into the Tinkaton as well. Boom Burst, very unguarded, because again, I don't feel Sableye is coming this week, and we've got the Flamethrower for the Tinkaton. So that being said, next Pokemon we are bringing a little bit of a late comer to the team here is Hoss the OKIDOGI. He's holding his Assault Vest as well with the Toxic Chain ability, Drain Punch, Knockoff, Ice Punch, and High Horsepower. We have 240 EVs in HP, 76 in attack, 8 in defense, 184 in special defense with an Adamant nature. We are running Terra Fire this week. This was originally like, I kept going with like a Nasty Plot 3 attacks for Farigiraf, a Dual Dance for Farigiraf, a Trick Room 3 attacks for Farigiraf. I couldn't quite get down what I wanted Farigiraf to do, because there's a lot of priority potential with things like Meowscarada, with things like Entei, with Prankster on Sableye. You know, just a lot of those were around, and I couldn't find I couldn't find my right footing. Like, it made sense to me. My monkey brain, the synapses were linking, but I couldn't quite get it down. And so at the end of the day, I was like, you know what, let's bring something that hits hard, just kind of ornately, that's able to take some of these hits, and that was Okidogi. So Haas is running Terrifier. If by chance Sableye does show up and runs the Prankster Will-O-Wisp, we'll be immune to that if we Terrifier. Very similar with Entei and Sacred Fire Burns. We'll be able to go on ahead and take that, shrug that off very nicely. Drain Punch, really good for the recovery, doing super effective damage into things like Meowscarada. Knock off Ice Punch, high horsepower, go very, very good coverage across the board when it comes to Owen's team. We've got a lot of bulk behind us, again, to help out with some sets regarding Mew, regarding Latios, depending on the set. If we do Terrifier, we are taking those Soul Dew boosted hits a little bit better. Our natural bulk between HP and defense means we're able to take on things like Meowscarada just a little bit more comfortably. So that's really going to be the name of the game. There's no real threat. There is no real threat of Intimidate, because if Bagon shows up, Bagon doesn't even have Intimidate. Who am I thinking? I'm thinking Immense. Bagon doesn't even have Intimidate. So Toxic Chain just makes the most sense at the end of the day. Being able to get those 30% poisons off on the contact moves, gonna go a long way this week. Next up, we are bringing Mustache Merca, the Landorus. Everybody loves Mustache Merca. Leave a like if you love Mustache Merca. Leftovers with the sheer force ability, we have Calm Mind, Earth Power, Sludge Wave, and Psychic. 196 EVs in HP, 12 in defense, 48 in special attack, 252 in speed with a timid nature. With this set, we're outspeeding all of the base 100s, Mew, Tentacruel, Zapdos, and Entei, Gliscor, and below, Tinkaton, Sableye, Bagon. That congested sort of speed bracket that he has between Latios through Tinkaton really makes it so if I can get a Pokemon right above there, I'm feeling much better. And that's kind of around where Landorus sits. Latios is faster, but I'm hopeful that with the setup of Calm Mind over Nasty Plot, we're able to get a boost up in advance. Take something like a Draco Meteor, maybe even a Tech Ice Beam on there and go from there. Earth Power, Sludge Wave, and Psychic, clean across the board into the Mons that Owen has. I'm not super concerned about that. Psychic being able to hit things like the Tentacruel as well as Earth Power. Sludge Wave being able to hit things like the Latios too. I'm really concerned, Earth Power for the Tinkaton. I wanted to run Psychic as well, because if it is an Air Balloon Tinkaton, just like if I was Rock's Calm Mind, Earth Power, Sludge Wave, I'm walled. I'm walled at the end of the day. I wanted to make sure that I had a way to go for that. Maybe it was like a rock move or something at the end of the day, but I'm very comfortable with the Psychic play here. We'll see what we've got. We're running max speed again to outspeed the base 100s. We have a very large amount of bulk with just a little bit in defense to be able to help out with some of the physical hits from something like an Entei, from a Gliscor, from a Tinkaton. Special attack investment is just there, so as we continue to Calm Mind up, we're just that much more lethal at the end of the day. Next up, Hot Rod the Talonflame is holding his heavy duty boots with the Gale Wings ability. Brave Bird, Flare Blitz, Defog, and U-Turn. We have 24 number, 24 EVs in HP, max investment in attack, 232 in speed with the Jolly Nature. This is outspeeding the entirety of Owen's team, barring any sort of choice Scarfers that outpace Meowscarada and below, which is great. The priority on things like Brave Bird, if it is a Scarf Meowscarada, if it is a Dragon Dance Latios, if it is like a setup Mew, a Scarf Galarian Zapdos, Brave Bird, Gale Wings, yeah, just send it, just full send it. Flare Blitz is nice. Flare Blitz being able to hit things like the Tinkaton super effectively. Defog is really there because, again, the opportunity for the hazards on his side of the field, Spikes, Rocks, and Toxic Spikes, has at least 3 setters of each. Some of those are compressed a little bit, like Gliscor gets all of them, Mew gets all of them, so like, but a lot of variety there, and I do not want to get hazard stacked against, quite honestly, so I wanted to bring the Defog. U-Turn is nice because if I could make any sort of prediction there, obviously like a Talonflame versus a Galarian Zapdos, you don't want to win that, and you don't want to go about that encounter, so I want to go for the U-Turn just to be able to pivot on out of there at the end of the day. Nothing too crazy with this set. Last, certainly not least, we've got Igris the Ceruledge. She's holding his Charcoal with the weak armor ability. Bulk Up, Bitter Blade, Shadow Claw, and Shadow Sneak. We have 120 EVs in HP, max attack investment, 136 in speed with an Adamant Nature. I gotta be honest with you guys, I'm not, I don't, maybe it's me, maybe it's the Pokemon. I haven't quite found my niche with Ceruledge just yet. I feel much more comfortable with something like Okidogi. I haven't quite gotten there, and I keep trying to make Ceruledge work, and maybe it's that I don't have the team, maybe it's because I don't have the play style. I'm not 100% sure, but on paper, this seems like this makes sense in caveman brain. Pokemon click button, attack other Pokemon faint. But we'll see at the end of the day. We are running Terra Dark. Terra Dark there to help us in case of any sort of the prankster shenanigans if Sableye does show up. We could run something like a Terra Fire if need be, but with any sort of hazards up, I'm not trying to take extra chip every time I come in. I want to be able to get a Terra off and go from there. Bulk up, Bitter Blade, Shadow Claw, and Shadow Sneak. Not Poltergeist, because something like an itemless Tentacruel can be very, very punishing if I try to go for a bulk up and go for a Poltergeist. No item, it fails. I'm now getting hit, I'm getting hazed, what have you, whereas Shadow Claw does obviously a little bit less damage. There is the higher crit chance, but I always connect that. There's not a chance to miss, there's not a chance for it to fail, it just goes. Shadow Sneak, good for the priority as well. Bitter Blade paired with the Charcoal, quite honestly, so Latios and Tentacruel resist the, Latios and Tentacruel resist the fire move. Bagon's not coming. I'm not going to talk about like Bagon's going to come here, but it's Entei, Latios, and Tentacruel that resist Bitter Blade. Other than that, it's either super effective or it's neutral. Shadow Claw does great damage in a Tentacruel, especially after a bulk up. It has a very low natural defense stat. I think it is, Tentacruel's base defense is 65, so very good. After a weak armor boost, we're going to be faster than Latios. Even beforehand, it does not want to take a +1 Adamant Shadow Sneak, at least not to my best calculations. So really, that's going to be the name of the game, is see what we can do to get Sarah Ledge up, go for the Bitter Blade to get as much damage off as we can. We can go for the bulk ups to get a little bit of recovery off. It's also going to offset any of the weak armor drops that we are getting from the physical moves. Prior to our weak armor popping, we had 240 speed. So like, I don't think Entei ever shows up min speed. I don't think it ever does. I think Gliscor could be very defensive, as could Tinkaton, so we've got just a little bit above that. 0 speed investment, Gliscor hits 226, Tinkaton hits 224. Like I said, we hit 240. Tentacruel and Mew both hit 236. So again, if it's like a max HP, max defense Tentacruel, we can outspeed that. Same thing with the Mew. If it's like hazard setting Mew, like not here to set up, we can't outspeed that. The max attack investment paired with the Charcoal Bitter Blade is doing, like I said, a lot of damage across the board. And then the rest of our EVs are put into HP, really for just longevity. You know, we could chunk that into defense, but if we can't necessarily stack the bulk up boost alongside the weak armor, it kind of gets offset to an extent. So I just figured 120 in HP for the overall longevity is going to be the best case scenario. That is going to be our team. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys at the battle. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the 4th week in the Pokemon Premier League. My name is CBAD, coach of the Detroit Steelwings, and we are going up against my buddy Owen. I am so excited to be playing him. No, John, the funny story about this match, and I'll talk about it if I've got some time to before we hop into the battle, but definitely go don't choke out his channel. Check out his channel. Link will be in the description as always. We have had the pleasure of battling quite a few times, I believe, over the years. I remember the first time we played was actually in Sword and Shield, so very excited to continue the trends of playing with some good people. If you guys missed the team builder, you guys can see the 6 that I have on screen. It is a little bit late. I apologize. I've actually been enjoying the trend of no face cam battles. It's been nice to just kind of focus on the game and not have to worry about like staying in cam and the bright lights. I can really just kind of like hyper fixate on the battle itself. But we had originally scheduled, in my mind, I had originally asked if we could schedule this for 5:30 p.m. PST, 8:30 EM EST, or 8:30 p.m. EST. Turns out I typed 8:30 p.m. PST, which is 11:30 my time, and I'm an old man with a day job, so I am up late playing some Pokemon tonight. So no Johns, either way, I'm super excited for this matchup. I am feeling a little bit underprepared simply because of the time crunch with this in Legends ZA. Definitely, I'm also, you can probably hear in the sound of my voice, I'm still feeling a little bit under the weather. I believe I'm on the end game of that one as well, so hopefully we'll see. Like I said, no Johns. Owen's a great battler, and I certainly am not going to say I lost due to lack of, I'm EP, or I didn't do my homework for this, but just wanted to let you all know at home what's going on behind the scenes here. But I certainly feel like I've got a really solid set of 6. I've mixed around a few different iterations. We see OKIDOGI on the team. This was originally a Double Dance for Farigiraf. It was then Trick Room, 3 attacks for Farigiraf, and I couldn't really feel locked into one of those and sold and committed, so we're bringing AV Dogi. I'm excited for it as well. I think we've got a pretty solid matchup going into this. Like I said, we're just going to do our best to lay down the hammer and see where he goes, but all that being said, appreciate you guys watching. Leave a like if you're excited. Subscribe for more Draft League content. I'll see you guys at Team Preview. We do see the Meowscarada. We do see the Mew, which is Terra Dark. We see Gliscor, which is Terra Fairy, Tinkaton, Galarian Zapdos, and Raikou. So no Sableye is great. Lots of hazard potential right out the gate immediately. I do have the Talonflame, but I want to be mindful of that. Let me grab my notes here. That these are going to be our Terra. Mew is dark. Gliscor is fairy. Okay. I get hard punished by a Meowscarada lead, quite honestly, so I am going to lead Talonflame and just U-turn out. I'm going to have to. I'm glad that I did bring the Raging Bolt. I haven't brought Raging Bolt all season. I am glad that I brought it because it does put Gliscor in a situation where does it Terra, does it not Terra, which takes Terra off of Mew. It does also pressure things like Galarian Zapdos with Thunderclap. Hard Heavy handles Raikou with the Assault Vest that we've got on. So leads off with the Coldest Cat. And here is my Hot Rod. I am absolutely clicking U-turn, and there's probably a Rocky Helmet or a Sucker Punch coming my way from something. But I'm getting the heck out of dodge on this thing. All right, lives it. I literally, okay. Literally was Helmet Meowscarada. So like Ceruledge feels fun if you were to go for like a spike or something, because this thing gets spikes, right? Yeah, this thing gets spikes. Ceruledge feels fun. Screamtail also feels kind of fine, but I need Tinkaton out of here a little bit for that. Let's go Dogi. Yeah, there's the spikes. Yeah, there's spikes. I was thinking Ceruledge because once the Protean ground goes off, I could go for the Shadow Sneak. You know, is what it is. I don't mind. I do mind the knockoff here, don't I? I'll go for the Horsepower, quite honestly. Let me go for that. That's not a contact move that should trigger Rocky Helmet. 5% chance to miss. 95% of the time this works out. 5% of the time, ugh. So, taunts. Oh, even better. Okay. Okidogi. Oh, that is a contact move too. Damn it. All right. KO. Why is that a oh, high horsepower. I'm thinking Stomping Tantrum. I'm an idiot. Either way, KO'd Meow early. I like it. I am taunted. It's okay. I'm AV 4 attacks, not AV 3 attacks, and a set of move that I can't use behind an Assault Vest, so we're okay. I still get a very fast defog off. Here comes the Mew. Mew is Terra Dark. Psychic blows me backwards and it does force Terra, but I do have the Ceruledge in the back to kind of help with that. I'll try to go for a knockoff. Dragon Dance. Thank you, sir. All right. Ice Punch, neutral play. Yeah. If you're Terra Dark, Ice Punch, neutral play. I could Drain Punch here. I'm gonna Drain Punch. Earthquake. Okay. I should have knocked. I could get a cheeky Toxic Poison here, though. Off Toxic Chain. I could get a very cheeky Toxic off of the Toxic Chain. I'll go for the knockoff now. Then that does just leave Gliscor with the Terra Fairy at that point. There's the knockoff in return. I live on 2 because Dogi's the GOAT. All right. We're not looking too bad. That forces Gliscor in a Terra position. Does put a pinch on Raging Bolt, but I tell you, I ain't feeling too bad. Strike twice. I Ice Punch here every time. Every time. U-turn. Okay, that's fine. Zapdos, G, KOs, Okidogi with U-turn. We don't know anything about that, whether that was banded or otherwise. I assume that is Defiant. What's its other ability? I don't think it has another good one. In comes Guillotine the Gliscor. All right. There's your Toxic Orb. There's that. There's that fun stuff. That's a fun one. Talonflame with Defog spikes away right now. I like that. I like that. Let's do that. Let's do that. I'll go for a Defog. We got Swords Dance. Swords Dance Facade. Let's Defog first. See what goes on here. Yeah, Facade would do about half to me, honestly. Uninvested. There's the Swords Dance. Okay. I will simply go for the Brave Bird. Yeah, okay. It's like max HP. Here's the Agility Double Dance Gliscor. Okay. All right. Might be game. Might be game. I will attempt to get a big crit Brave Bird off here. But you're going to go to +4. You're going to go to +4, you madman. I respect it. Little poison heal off the touch there. Wow, really don't have anything to take this right now, do I? So Facade's going to come out, right? Like that's for sure what's going on here. I mean, YOLO. I think this is it right here. Just a knockoff. Okay, knockoff in case I switched into the Sarah Ledge there. We've got Gliscor, KO's Talonflame. With a knockoff. Question. Am I faster than a +2 Gliscor? Oh. Has just enough speed to outpace that. But I do live a +4 Facade. Depending on the investment. I'll go for the Boom Burst here. But I think it might be a Gliscor game, ladies and gentlemen. Terra Fairy Gliscor, okay. Just in case I had the Ice Beam. I respect it. Earthquake. I don't live that. I do live that. Huge. That's fine with me. I will go for another one. I will die. Gliscor KOs with knockoff. Okay, so Raging Bolt, Thunderclap does 29 to 35. Landorus, do you want a +4 knockoff? You actually don't mind it, actually. I'm gonna try this. Because you might be in Sludge Wave range. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back right here. Yes. Hold on. Hold on. 52 to 62, depending on the build. Let's go, baby. We're back in it. Okay, we're back in it. Tinkaton, Zapdos, and Raikou left. I've still got a full health Raging Bolt. Zapdos comes out. It's Scarf. Zapdos comes out. It's Scarf, and I think I have to go hard Ceruledge just to, like, hope, right? Yeah. I'll take a knockoff from a Choice Scarf one. It'll activate my weak armor. I'll be in a good spot. Here's the Brave Bird. Oh, are you... That did 93%. And it wasn't a crit? Adamant, maybe? I will try to go for a Bitter Blade here. That would have had to have been the highest roll. Yeah, that would have had to have been the highest roll on Adamant. So Bitter Blade does 63 to 75. Oh, so close. I needed I mean, I max attack Adamant with Charcoal. Like, that was going to be as much as I could bring back. All right. We've got Zapdos KO's Ceruledge with Brave Bird. Zapdos dies to Brave Bird Recoil. It's going to be a close one. I'll go, yeah. I gotta go into my Raging Bolt here. I get a slow Volt Switch out on this thing. I think I actually have to Draco on this, don't I? So here's the problem I have is that if I Volt Switch out on the Calm Mind, that puts me in a bad position. So I think I have to Draco because I can always go for the... I can always take the Play Rough from Tinkaton with this thing. So I will go for the Draco here. Yep, okay. Goes hard in a Tinkaton, that's fine. Yeah, I am 3-hit KO'd. You are Mold Breaker Tank. Okay. I will always go for a Volt Switch here. There's the Gigaton. 379. That did 14%. Does that tell me how much? Not invested. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Not very invested. Going back onto my Raging Bolt here because I feel like the Shuka is pretty on there. Foul play. Okay. How much HP? So if you are max HP Shuka, 37 to 44. I will go for the Thunderbolt here. Thunderclap might actually take this thing out from that range. I'll try. Or your Assault Vest. I didn't even stop to think about that. Bolt KOs Tinkaton with Clap. All right, it's going to come down to what I can do against this Raikou here. Substitute. Oh, good play. I'll break the sub, though. Looks like a -2. I could break it again. Depending on the set. I'll go into right. I'll go into Landorus, though. I want to see what you've got. Because you'd have to have, like, enough speed for max speed Landorus, right? So I'm trying to think, like, how does this play out? Because if you Calm Mind here, I don't think that puts me in a good spot with Bolt. If I Calm Mind, what would it be? Like sub CM Calm Mind Scald? I'll go for one. I'll try it. I'll try it and see what we got. Has the Scald. Okay, that's fine. That's totally fine. Thunderbolt has a chance, depending on the Raikou spread, to break sub. But it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. It's going to come down to a very hard 1v1 against this with AV Raikou at, or AV Bolt at 59%. Yeah, sub Calm Mind. Yeah. If you're just max HP, max speed. This is going to be a very long, drawn-out game of trying to put you in a spot to not, like, hey, do a lot of damage. Oh, my kingdom for Earthquake on this AV set right now. I tell you, I was thinking about it. But I like Volt Switch for the slow pivot. I liked it. Yeah, it's going to come down to just how comfortable can he get behind a sub? Can I get some crits with Draco? Like, note to self. This is a takeaway. Always bring Earthquake on my Raging Bolt from now on. All right. 2 broke it down, but I tell you what, it's about to do it again. We're going to play the long game here. Yeah, like I could crit. I could crit right now. I'm not going to, but wouldn't that be cool if I could crit? You know, if I had a nickel for every time that I have been sub-stalled out by a Raikou, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot. But it's interesting that it's happened twice. Okay, two Thunderbolts apparently does it. That is good to know. He's going to stall me out of my Thunderbolts, though, eventually. Yeah, I have to, like, crit a Thunderbolt on one of these just to, like, keep him in a range where it's, like... Because it's not Protect. It's not Sub-Scald, Calm Mind, Protect, right? Like, he's not Mono Scald. It's not Suicune. I hope it's not Suicune. So if you're enough for 2 Thunderbolts to break your sub... I guess I could go for a Volt Switch just to stave off the PP. There you go. Now we're going to +3. Yep, he'll be back up at half. I'll take the Scald. This next one should break the sub, I hope. That's really what it comes down to. He has this game in the bag. It's just a matter of if I can crit through the the subs and whatnot. Here comes the Scald. He also could get a burn to accelerate the game state as well. But he's going to play for the differential, which at the end of the day, bringing this down, if and when we do lose this as a 1-0, starting the season 3-0 and our first loss being a 1-0 loss, I'm completely fine with. Like, that is absolutely okay. That is absolutely more than fine by my book. Like I said, Owen is a great battler. You know, I respect this set. I think that in this format, when things can often be a lot of hyper offense, something like this can really help kind of break that mold. At what point do I go for Draco and try? I'll go for it right now and try. No burns? Ah, there it is. All right, that's going to be game. That'll be game. This might not even break the sub. Oh, it did. Look at that. Look at us go. All right, if I play Owen again in the finals, Earthquake on my Raging Bolt. All right, I have 6 HP left. I'm going to die to my burn. I will attempt to go for a Thunderclap. His safe play is to always click Substitute, though. Yeah, give me a crit. Imagine that was the crit right there. Imagine. I'll play for it. GG's to Owen. Great game. I think the team prep that I had originally was not going to cut it at all against his lineup. I'm going to be honest. I think OKIDOGI did a fantastic job. I think the Landorus set did really, really well. I do wish I wish Sarah Ledge was able to pick up the KO on Zapdos, because I feel like that might have been game right there. But Max Attack Charcoal, I mean, it was Life Orb after that point. You know, that was really all I could have done there. I'm trying to think. I could have KO'd the Mew sooner to have more HP on OKIDOGI. I think the series of events with Screamtail into Landorus to knock out the Gliscor was needed. So I truly only think maybe calling the AV on the... Let me calc here. So if it was AV, I'll be curious to see what it is afterwards. Landorus against Tinkaton. Assault Vest. Earthquake was doing about 49 to 50. Shuka did about 37 to 44. So it'll depend. Definitely could have been an AV set, and I could have been in a better situation if I would have just fired off the Earthquake, taken the foul play. That would have put me in range of a Scald from Raikou. So there were a few 50-50s, I guess, from that scenario that could have done a little bit better. But GG's to Owen. Like I said, guys, definitely go show him some love. Been battling with this guy a long time. Definitely knows his stuff, as seen here. Always a pleasure to interact with him when I can. If you guys have enjoyed this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe for more Draft League content. We are going up against 6-foot hacks next week. Always looking forward to playing my boy Leo. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night. As always, I want to remind you guys to be great, do great, and I'll see you guys next week for game day. Later.